off the left side, come over about 2 points. Impact.
What's up, everybody? Welcome Squad Squad. Welcome to Slav Guns and Turbo SHOT Show 2024, and we're at the booth that I was really looking forward to. So obviously on the channel over the last year, we've been talking a lot about 6 ARC, 22 ARC, 6.5 Grendel, and Precision AR platform. And one of the triggers I was most excited about is from Rise Armament, and I'm here with Cal, taking a look at their relatively new, I guess it's still brand new, trigger for the modern sporting rifles, which will take your game up. So Cal, thank you very much for having me here.
Absolutely, it's a pleasure.
Walk us through the trigger. I know Rise Armament, I mean, you've been very well known for good quality triggers, but this one is a little bit different. I would say probably catered more towards the precision rifle market than others.
Absolutely. So what we've got here is our iconic independent two-stage trigger. And why we call it the independent two-stage trigger is because the two blades right here that you'll see actually operate independently from each other inside the trigger housing. So up front, it's got a 1 pound pull, a really, really distinct wall, no mushiness at all, and then a 2 pound pull to the brake, and then a really nice crisp reset, kind of like what you'd expect from our single stage triggers that people have come to know and love. So you really get the best of both worlds with this trigger. All the benefits of a two-stage trigger, like you said, if you're shooting precision and you want to get through that first stage, prep your shot, then squeeze, you can do that really easily, know exactly where you are at that wall.
So who's kind of like the target buyer for this one? I mean, is it going to be just the precision rifle guys? How would somebody, like if they're watching this video and they just bought their first AR,
Sure.
Oftentimes, let's say they're going to get a decent AR, but for a lot of people, that trigger, until you have like ultimate trigger discipline and trigger control, right, the trigger is going to be the sticking point for them, and it's going to be holding them back. So that's why you hear the advice, hey, go upgrade your trigger. Right. So how would someone identify this trigger versus something else?
Well, I think it's great for the hunting platform. Again, with that no doubt second stage wall, you're prepping your shot, maybe the deer walks behind a tree, you can let off, and then you can come right back, set up your shot again. To your point, if you're teaching someone how to shoot, or maybe running them through the basics of proper trigger discipline and trigger control, having that really crisp 1 pound pull up front to a wall that's really, really secure will really help them and kind of give them the basics of, here's how I squeeze the trigger, and then you can follow through and basically finish the trigger squeeze.
Okay. So one of the annoying points about AR triggers is sometimes it'll come in 2 or 3 pieces, and even though modern sporting rifles are literally adult Legos, I know a lot of people, if you're doing it for the first time, getting the trigger pins in there, getting them inside is a little bit more difficult. How difficult or easy to put this trigger in?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because that's actually one of the best parts about this trigger is it's incredibly, incredibly simple to install. There's nothing to adjust. It's a true drop-in trigger. You literally take your grip, your safety out, take your old not-so-good trigger out, put the iconic in there, you put your anti-walk pins in that the trigger comes with, throw your grip and your safety back on there, and then you're ready to rock and roll.
So it's literally, I guess it comes in a metal housing unit. We'll take close-ups of that. Drop it in, a couple of pins, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. Okay. It's literally that easy. So
what's the price point? What's the availability on these? Because, like a lot of the times it's like, we're here at SHOT Show, there's a ton of really good ideas. Yeah. It's a combined brand situation where we're behind as content creators with putting the videos out there, but 10 months later, you release a video, and the great part about it, none of the stuff is out yet. So how long do people have to wait in order to get this?
Not long at all. These triggers are available right now. We've been working on production of these. Like you said, it's not that new of a trigger. We've had them for about a year or so. Okay. So we've got available at our site, risearmament.com, or any dealer that carries our triggers. Okay. A lot of the bigger ones who carry our triggers will have this trigger available. At MSRP's at $299. Okay. So definitely on the higher end of our price point, but this is a really unique, high quality, high performing trigger that we think it's worthy of that price tag.
All right. So. Actually, at Range Day, we did try a couple of triggers, and probably the ones I was really blown away by are going to be your 700 trigger. So let's go for those.
Awesome. That was all these here for you. So what we've got here is our 2 different models that we're coming out with. In my right hand here, this green one is what we're calling the Reliant Hunter. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's marketed towards hunters who want to upgrade their trigger in their R700 rifle for hunting. Really cool thing about this trigger is it's got an adjustable pull weight on the bottom, and it's adjustable on the outside of the rifle while the trigger is installed. Another thing about these triggers that we really wanted to set ourselves apart is we wanted to go for safety. A lot of people who are putting a new trigger in their R700 guns, their number one concern is how safe is it going to be when I got this really lightweight trigger. So we put these things through a rigorous testing, broke about 6 stocks trying to get these things to fail, and never saw a failure, even when they were pulled, the pull weight was really low. So incredible amounts of safety. The other one I've got here is our Pro version. It's not only got the same adjustable pull weight feature, but it's also got adjustable over travel as well, also externally available. The Pro is just under 1 to 3 pounds, and the Hunter is 3 to 5 pounds. So a little bit heavier, but probably more in the sweet spot for your average hunter who just wants to upgrade his trigger and then set it where he likes it and not have to worry about it ever again. Whereas the Pro, maybe for your little more advanced bolt action shooter who maybe dabbles in PRS, also does hunting, a lot of that stuff, they can get a little bit more out of it and kind of tinker with it a little bit more.
So obviously a lot of the bolt, thanks to Remington again, and wanting to save a couple of bucks, thanks to them, a lot of the bolt guns that you're getting out right now, whether it's going to be Savage, Ruger, or anybody else, they're going to have the trigger dongle in there, obviously for safety. So by going to these triggers, if somebody hasn't had experience with these, they're going to say, well, where's the safety on there? So how do you ensure that there's still good safety, that if you left your loaded gun leaning against a tree and it fell over, that it's not going to go bang without having a trigger blade safety?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the outside here, we've got this safety lever. But another cool thing about it is on the inside of this trigger housing, we added an extra sear surface. So we moved over where the trigger sear is, and then there's a third sear in between the top sear and the trigger sear that basically adds as that stopgap to what you're talking about. So there's basically an extra pivot point in there that allows us to add that extra layer of stability.
So between these triggers, I guess, like, is it really going to be as simple as, like, hey, do you want lower weight versus higher weight triggers, or are there some kind of like other points of consideration between choosing between the two triggers?
Well, I think the pull weight is going to be the most important aspect, right? Because again, if you're looking for something that you don't want to worry about it, like if you want to feel a little bit extra, like I don't want to go too low, you have that option. Whereas with the Pro, you really want to get down into the weeds and have a little bit more customizability. You can go with this one.
Right, and what's the price point? What's the availability on these triggers?
So the Hunter model is MSRPing at $159.
Wow.
And the Pro version is MSRPing at $259. And right now our plan is to have these shipping out next month.
Okay. So obviously these are single stage triggers. Can we possibly think that if there is going to be enough demand for a 2-stage trigger that might possibly come at some point?
I'm just a marketing guy. I don't know if I have the ability to answer that question, but I imagine, we're always trying to innovate, and we're always trying to make upgrades and solve problems for shooters out there. And that's kind of our goal and our mission, is to make products people can trust and trust their life with, or, trust on their hunt or whatever. We're really striving to do that.
And I guess the compatibility question in these triggers. So obviously a lot of triggers, a lot of the actions, they say, hey, we're taking Remington 700.
Yes.
I know with some triggers you have to remove the safety. Others, is this going to be compatible with all of them? And the same thing, like with some of the actions have like the hanger systems?
Sure. Yes, so this will be compatible with any R700 or clone action.
Okay.
So that's another cool thing about it. And again, these are relatively easy to install as far as R700 triggers go, right? Because it's all self-contained in this housing. The top sear is attached on here, so once you finally get all your parts out of your other R700 trigger, put it on top, put your pins in, and then put the gun back together, and you're ready to go. So, and then you can do all your adjusting outside the gun, so you don't have to worry about it.
Awesome. So Rise Armament, you guys started with a number of modern sporting rifle triggers. You've expanded to the precision rifle, modern sporting rifle triggers. You have the Remington 700 market covered. But what if somebody says, hey, you know what, I love all of this, but I don't feel like messing with the triggers. I just want to have a complete solution, get it done.
Well, I think we've got an answer for that, and we've got something we can answer that question as well.
All right,
so what I've got here is the new hotness, as we like to say. So as many of you may or may not know, Hornady just came out with a new cartridge called the 22 ARC. That's what this gun is chambered in, and that's what we built this gun around. At our facility, we manufactured these barrels. We did all the rifling, all the contouring, all that good stuff. We basically started from scratch to build a brand new barrel. We pinned the gas block on here. We've got a new hand guard, and this is a threaded barrel. I failed to mention, but it is. We've got a new hand guard on here. We have steel inserts on this hand guard with a new locking mechanism for added stability. 12 o'clock continuous Picatinny rail here. And then we've got M-lock slots all around, obviously. Little extra surface area up here to kind of make room for buttons on a light or something like that. We've got a new trigger guard. We've got new takedown pins. We've got a new safety selector. Basically, all these components we'll be coming out with and selling individually, but they're going to be featured on this rifle. You know, these takedown pins are contoured on one side, and then on the other side, they're indented. So take a pin or a tip of a bullet, and you can just easily pop those suckers out. This is our mag button. This gun will come with our iconic independent two-stage trigger. And so, yeah, we got an ambi charging handle as well. This is a very, 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 very accurate rifle. I think we were shooting .19 MOA groups with this thing.
At what distance?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was 600 yards.
Okay, that's fairly impressive.
Yeah, so it's a stupid accurate gun. So
who's kind of like the target buyer for this? Is it going to be someone who's a match shooter? Is it going to be someone who's a hunter? Just a general guy who just wants to go to the range?
Main ones will be a little bit of precision shooter guys, maybe a little bit of long range, because as I said, it's very accurate out to good distances. I think the main target audience we'll be aiming for is varmint hunters, though. Coyotes, prairie dogs, all that type of stuff. This is your rifle right here. But it's a really fun gun to shoot. Even if you just want to take it to the range, I don't think you'd have a problem with that either.
All right, so this one's chambered in 22 ARC, which is awesome to see because you'd often have like a lot of times someone will come up with a new cartridge and then you'll have like one or two companies kind of come up and support it while all the other companies are waiting, okay, well, we'll wait and see. So the fact that you can get a 22 ARC, I know Hornady is supporting the cartridge with a number of ammo, and you guys are actually coming up with it. But what if someone says they want 6 ARC or 6.5 Grendel? Any plans on offering other calibers as well?
That's a great question. I'm not 100% sure what our firearms line and what they've got planned in the works, but you know, we do have a couple other rifles that we offer in 6.5 Creedmoor, 308 Winchester, some AR-10s. We've got some 5.56 and 223 AR-15s. I'm sure if this thing does what we expect it to do, we'll have a lot more options on the table. So.
All right. And what's the price point? What's the availability in these guns?
These guns are scheduled to release in March.
Okay.
Price point, about $20.99, so a little over $2,000. But again, really, really high-performing precision rifle made with all Rise parts, so you know you're getting that quality that you expect.
Right, and these rifles, like are they going to be available just for Rise Armament, or can people pick them up from dealers as well?
You should be able to pick them up through dealers as well as through us.
Okay, fantastic. And where can people find more info on the rifles and the triggers?
So, risearmament.com. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, X, or Twitter, whatever you call it, Instagram, at Rise Armament. We'll be releasing info there. Info will be coming on the website, as I mentioned, and as well as through our email list. A great place to subscribe to our email list. We drop all kinds of news and information through there as well.
Awesome. Fantastic. So that was a more or less complete look at Rise Armament, a company that started out with triggers, expanded it into precision rifle triggers, expanded into bolt action rifle triggers, and now precision modern sporting rifles themselves for anybody who doesn't want to mess with it and just wants a complete solution. Callan, thank you very much for taking the time.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Let me know what you think. Let me know which of these 700 triggers you are going to go with, the Pro or the Hunter, and just overall, let me know what your take on 22 ARC is, because that truly is the new hotness. As always, thanks for watching. Keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video linked up here.